Hi everyone, and welcome back to Pause for Self-Care. I'd really like to just say a huge thank you to everyone who's been engaging with my channel, whether it's just hitting the like button or watching a video. So yeah, this is for you if you've watched and you haven't commented yet. I know myself that when I get to know a YouTuber, I tend to watch for quite a while before I comment. So I'm really grateful for you just watching. Today's video will be about negative self-talk. Now, I have done a previous video on this and I will put it in my community bar, so please do head over there and have a look. But as for now, let's get on to this video.
In all of us, in our hearts, there's love and light that we must realize. We need to feel, we need to use this warmth that could make bright our lives. In all of us, in our hearts, there's love and...
Okay, so we all have an inner critic. But when you experience childhood trauma, your inner critic tends to be louder. And why is that? It's really part of what your parents put into you. So for instance, my mother would say I'd never amount to anything. And the most I would be is a packer at Checkers. So a little while ago, I actually posted one of my normal posts about narcissistic parents on Facebook. And one of my friends, Faye, turned around and said to me, you know what, you really need to look up Susan Forward's books. And I know that Faye has been through something similar, and I thought, okay, well, I loved Michelle Piper's little Narcissistic Mother's Handbook, which I spoke about in one of my previous videos. And I thought, well, let me look up Susan Forward and give it a go. Any more information to help me on my healing journey is absolutely worth it. And well, I came across this and I thought it was very helpful. So please note that I do have some notes in front of me, so I will be looking down to make sure that I'm giving you all the right info. Okay, I will be doing a blog post along with this, and in the blog post I will be giving you a little free worksheet. So do head over there and you can use that worksheet while you're watching this video, or you can use it afterwards, because either way it is going to be helpful towards you. Step 1, recognize that your negative self-talk are lies. And that's the starting point. When you start to realize that your negative self-talk is just that, negative self-talk, and it's not really who you are, that's when you need to do something to stop it and to curb it. So the negative messages that you've heard growing up are basically lies. Lies about yourself that your abusive parent fed you that you believe to be true. To stop negative self-talk, you need to make a list of all these negative messages, also known as lies, that you tell yourself. Write as much as you can think of, but don't stress about how much you can remember. Just write what comes to mind. As you write down each lie, think about where it originated from. Questions to ask yourself as you write down each lie. These questions will help you realize the causes of the negative self-talk, its effects on you, and why changing it will be so good for you. who said it. Even if you're the only one currently saying it to yourself, the lie still originated from somewhere. It's likely from your abusive parent, but it can also be from another source. When you've dealt with early abuse, you're likely to be more sensitive to criticism. So any little flaw on your parts can become part of the library of negative messages you tell yourself every day. Also, sometimes the abuser or other bullies in your life, I know I was bullied at school too, doesn't have to straight up say things like, "You're ugly," or "You're stupid." Just comparisons or implications like, "Your sister is so pretty," or "Why can't you be as smart as your cousin?" This can be enough to make you come up with and say these negative messages to yourself. So that's why it's important to think of the why and the who. And as I said, why did they say it? You don't have to know the answer to this question. Most people don't. And look, I've got a lot of whys that I can't answer. The abuser likely wants you to doubt yourself, and that could very well be why. You doubt yourself, you question your abilities, you don't think you're good enough. They call you names and insult you because you're likely projecting their insecurities, and once again they tear you down to build themselves up. You know you're such a bitch. That's what mine told me. How does the lie make you feel? These internalized messages likely trigger painful feelings, and they probably make you feel sad, angry, guilty, ashamed, bitter, sad, embarrassed. Spend time thinking about each lie as you write it down. Think about how they became so ingrained in you. Each of them is likely linked to trauma from your past. Now, one thing that sticks with me: nobody likes you. And you know, that was used against me so many times. Yeah, by my abuser that I have a protection order currently against. Yeah, the very same one, and nobody likes you. And when I phoned the owner of this complex, initially, years ago, like 2013, to tell him about this abuser, he said, "Nobody likes you anyway." So to be told over and over again by people who are just plain abusive, narcissists, I really don't want to say what I'm thinking right now, but I think you know where I'm going. To hear that from those kind of people, you still believe it. Because you've been brought down your whole life, and you're just gonna believe the bad stuff, aren't you? The bad stuff is easier to believe. How did it shape who I am? The negative feelings each lie triggers lead to self-defeating behavior. So yeah, triggers. You can't be blamed for your triggers. Your triggers are there because somebody did something to you, or something happened to you to cause that trigger. So you can't blame yourself. In a way, you engage in a self-fulfilling prophecy in making the lie truth. Why is it time to let the lie go? Think about how letting that lie go can change who you are and your mindsets, and how it's going to change yourself and the world around you. Think of the positive changes that could happen from it. Now, when you actually have to make a decision, this is another good thing to look at. Look at the decision you have to make and make a list of pros and cons and say, if that negative thing happens, and with every decision you make, there will be negative things that could happen. Look at that negative thing and say to yourself, could I live with that negative thing? And if you can, that's okay, isn't it? But if you feel that you can't live with that thing, you can either choose another route, or you can break it down further into chunks that you can handle and work from there. So, here's a little example. I will never succeed. I'll never be good enough. Who said it? My mother. Why did they say it? She projects her insecurities onto me. It was also easy for her to target a child who hadn't accomplished anything yet. How does the lie make me feel? Makes me feel disappointed with myself, like I can't do anything right, and that I can never accomplish anything. How did it shape who I am? I'm scared to pursue anything because I don't think I'll succeed. I'm scared of failure. I give up before I try because I don't see the point in trying. And because I don't try, the lie that I'll never succeed will ultimately become the truth. Step 2. Reason why your negative self-talk isn't a truth. The next step in how to stop negative self-talk is to reason with yourself about why the lies you tell yourself aren't true. So next to each lie you have, write down why they aren't true. State your argument. Be your own lawyer. Provide evidence. Be as specific as you want. And it's okay to brag. I'll never succeed is a lie because I've already accomplished many things in my life. And yeah, I won't go down what I wrote further, but yeah, I've accomplished a lot. Even if you think the lie has some truth to it, write down how you're working to change it, because being self-aware, my previous video, go and have a look, is really important. And if you see something negative in yourself, you don't need to live with it and bottle it up inside you. You can change it and make it better. That's the great thing about life. For example, instead of keeping a message as I'm so fat, change it to I'm overweight and add I'm working on being more active and eating healthier. If you believe the lie is true, such as something like I'm awful at sports, write down how it isn't a big deal or how it doesn't define who you are. It is just one tiny element of your overall identity. It's okay if what you wrote isn't relevant to the lie. What's important is that you realize how one negative thing about you doesn't negate all the positive things about you. You are not perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody on this planet is perfect. Let's just get that fact out of the way. We all have flaws, and a cliche as it sounds, it's what makes us unique. Focus on your strengths and recognize that you do indeed have them. Having trouble? Think about it this way. If you're having trouble writing anything, try to think of a loved one that is saying these negative things to themselves. What would you say to them? So if your friend is like breaking themselves down, what would you say? Say that to yourself. You've seen that post on social media. I know you have. Treat yourself like you were your own best friend. It's often easier for us to stand up for other people and see the good in them while having a lot of trouble defending ourselves. If you're still having trouble, have someone close to you provide some evidence to counter your lies. Have them tell you all the good things about you and why those negative messages aren't true. And how, even if they are, it's not all that you are. Make sure that they remain honest and realistic and not give broad statements like, "You're awesome," but give specific instances as to why you are. Because you need to change that negative self-talk. So you need that. Step 3. Replace your negative self-talk with positive but realistic self-talk. Now, we're not talking toxic positivity here. This is purely changing the negative talk in your head from lies to truth. Now it's time to replace each lie with a truth. Each truth should be a positive but realistic messages that counters the lies. And I stress being positive and realistic. Also make sure that the truth resonates with you. It has to be something that you believe. If you don't believe in it, it's not going to work for you. You really have to, I'm overweight, but I am doing something to counteract that. I can believe that I am doing something to counteract that. You might not think there's anything good to say about yourself, but inside, you know there are positive things about you. Keep this list of truths with you and look at it whenever you need some lifting up. Now, whenever you have the negative message about yourself, try to be aware and stop yourself before you start spiraling down and going back to that dark place. Once the negative thought starts creeping into your mind, stop your thought process and go straight to the truth. Of course, this is much easier said than done. Well, yeah, healing is messy. Use I feel instead of I am. I know how natural and instinctual these negative messages can be. So before I realize it, I'm stupid comes out of my mouth and left and right without me truly processing it. I notice that my much less self-critical partner says, I feel stupid. So that's a start, isn't it? Instead of thinking I am stupid, I am ugly, try to at least change it with I feel stupid, I feel ugly. Know what triggers your negative self-talk. One big way to stop negative self-talk is to start picking up on when it begins. You notice yourself thinking in any sort of negative way, stop yourself. Train yourself to stop that thought from going further. Then think about it and think about what happened that could have triggered the negative self-talk. Reason with yourself. You must recondition yourself. Stop yourself once you notice the negative self-talk and reason out why it isn't true. Then tell yourself what is true. Don't go to the place where you end up wallowing in negativity and self-hatred. It looks like something like this. I can't do anything right. How can I expect to achieve anything or succeed in life if I can't even do the simplest thing? I'm such a failure. Once you recognize the beginning of the negative pattern, stop yourself and go, that's not true because... Focus on the truth and end it at that. Move on with the rest of your day rather than dwell on the mess up you did that triggered the negative thought. Don't focus on the what ifs. What if I did it differently? If you focus on the what ifs, you'll end up being filled with regret and shame and thinking about how you could have done things differently. And you'll end up obsessing over what little mistake that will end up consuming you and reinforcing that lie that you tell yourself. If you really have to go back to the situation, give yourself a break. Because it's just there in the back of your mind causing unease and you have to get closure. At least give yourself a little breather first. Look at things from a different perspective and ask yourself questions. Ask questions to other people. Yeah, I still do that. I know things can't change. How they are is how they are. How they happened is how they happened. But I think having facts just helps me heal a bit. So once you're ready, try to look back at what you did from an objective and realistic perspective. And I'll just repeat that, objective and realistic. Analyze the situation and question it from an outside perspective, as if you're a fly on the wall, as if you are your own best friend. What's the worst thing that happened because of the mistake? Most of the time, nothing much. Life goes on for everyone else while you wallow in regret and shame about what you did. Like somebody said to me, if you have an argument with somebody, do you think they actually remember that? Now, a while ago, I had this nasty individual cause me to lose a friendship. And it's been years, and just the other day she contacted me for help. It's like, I thought I blocked you. Reblock. She did not even remember what she did. So why should you? Could the situation have ended up much worse? Of course yes. How memorable is my mistake to other people? Just what I said. The bottom line. I'm not going to lie. It's a difficult process. Catching yourself when you're negative because you're used to it. Like I said, the bad stuff is easier to believe. Takes mindfulness and awareness, but it's something that you can train yourself to do. And this is where I'll mention my previous video where I actually spoke about affirmations in changing your negative self-talk, and I think it's a really great one. So remember the 3 R's. Recognize where your negative self-talk comes from, reason why it doesn't define who you are, and replace the negative self-talk with positive but realistic self-talk. And there we have it. It's simple, but remember, healing is messy, and it's okay to take 2 steps back. It's a cha-cha. So, yeah. Do look out for my blog and get that worksheet and a little bit of extra information. And until next time, thank you so much to the newbies and the OGs. Remember to pause for self-care.